I have a question for you guys,
Yeah.
Brandon, Ben. If you were counseling a new agent who had made the decision to join a team, what questions should that agent be asking of that team leader that's interviewing him beyond what you just said as far as what kind of personality type they're looking for? What else should they be asking the team leader to determine whether or not this is the right place for them to be?
Great question. One would be, what is your business model?
Hmm.
Understanding, is it an inbound lead business? Is it an outbound lead business? Is it a business where they're just doing business off the team leaders, past client centers of influence? That would be something I would want to know. The second thing I'd want to know, and then Ben will get yours too. The second thing I want to know is, how do you plan to help me develop my own skills?
Yeah.
What does that plan look like? How do you guys develop the talent on your team? What are your team standards? This is going to tell me a lot about the team culture and what I'm getting myself into. And if they say, Dominic, well, what do you mean? We don't have any of those, right? We're looking for a team with strong beliefs. And here's the key thing that Simon Sinek says, right? It's in his book, Start With Why. Align yourself with a team that believes in what you believe. You'll make your life a lot easier. And then I would say, okay, well, those would be it. Character traits of the people that succeed on your team. What does your business model look like? What is the plan to develop people that you have on the team? And then what are your team's belief system? What are the standards of your team? Ben, what would be on your list of questions?
Yeah, I think you nailed a lot of them. I had down on mine. I want to know where the leads are coming from, right? And then that tells me conversion timeline, things like that, right? Inbound, outbound. Then your systems, so that I know what type of leverage I have, so that I know what I have to focus on. Am I solely focused on making sales, and I'm a
Great
salesperson,
point.
or am I building? And then the last thing is just my career path based on other people. Is there a ceiling? Is there opportunity for getting into the listing side? Because a lot of times you start on the buy side on a team. What does that look like? Is there room for that? Can you show me other people that have done that? Because that's what I want to know, right? Because a lot of times I think that if you're getting leads at a high level, you're getting a lot of leverage. A team can kind of be golden handcuffs, right? Because for you to leave, they have created just a bulletproof system that you're plugged into. So it's like you don't know that side of the business. So how much of the business am I going to learn, different pieces, so that I can stay here and continue to grow? Or at some point, if I want more, am I going to have to leave to get that? And we have an understanding of when that's appropriate, and we're both okay with that.
Yeah, up front. I think Dominic, he just mentioned something really, really important. Well, couple things, Ben. That was great. But one thing you said was, what is my responsibility on this team? Like, meaning, am I just responsible for going out there and bringing business in? Or am I also responsible for getting it closed and looking at that entire transaction? Because ideally, you'd like to start off, with bite sizes, like, okay, you're just going to, I love the way that some teams are doing it right now, where it's like you start off as an ISA. Like, you're not going to, all you're doing is generating leads and appointments over the phone. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I love that. You're going to do that for the first 6 months of being a licensed real estate agent, because that's teaching you how to fish. That's teaching you the disciplines, the mindset, the skills. That's like the foundation. I love that piece, And you said some other things too that are really important, which is like expectations up front. Because some people, again, there's no right or wrong way to do it. It's like, but some people would be better off just staying on the team for their career. There's
Yeah.
one guy in particular I'm thinking about. He does really well. He's on a really great team here in Detroit, and he got in the business the exact same time that I did, and he's still on the same team that I started with, and he's doing extremely well, and there's no reason for him to leave. Team gives him an assistant. Team does all his stuff. He doesn't have to bang his head against the wall managing a business, because going off on your own means now you're not just a salesperson. Now you're a business owner. You're managing a P&L. You've got expenses. You've got all this stuff to consider, where there is an argument to be had, Ben, of like, well, I just want to sell.
Right.
If I can make $300,000-$400,000 a year and just sell,
Yep.
and I don't have to deal with clients, I don't have to deal with this, that, and the other thing, and I don't have to deal
I can
with
go on
any of it.
vacation.
I can go on vacation. The team's going to handle my stuff. I mean, that's pretty, I'm looking at your guys' faces like, whoa, wow, that doesn't sound too bad, right?
Yeah.
So that's the point. And that's what a lot of great teams provide people. And so I think there's a lot of people out there that would never even have the need to go off on their own if they find themselves on a good team.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked a lot about, and tell me if this is not appropriate, but we talked a lot about teams and the advantages of being on a team. But we all three know that in our organization, in Listing Agent Academy, there are solo agents, new agents to the business, that are crushing it on their own from their basement. How are they doing that, Brandon? How are these what makes them outliers like that? What kind of person is that?
Yeah, no, that's a really, really good insight, Dominic. And because you're right. When this thing comes up, I seem very one-sided. I think that's abundantly clear that I'm probably biased on the side that a brand new agent probably starts with the team. Like, I just feel that is what puts that person in the most likely chance to succeed. However, there's a lot of people that I think it's just person dependent. But I go back. That's why I started the episode the way I wanted, or the way that I did. Is I think, Ben, that's what you're alluding to. If somebody starts on a team and they can learn the skills, and they can learn, they're really an entrepreneur at heart, and they can learn all the foundation. It's perfectly reasonable. What happens most of the time is that person then leaves the team. Respectable. We're on the same page. No harm, no foul. And the reality is, most people, the average, I think right now, that stay on a team is about 18 months. That's the life cycle. That is what a team leader should expect. And so that's one path. The other path is people don't ever even join a team. You don't have to join a team either. You can go right off on your own, assuming, to your question, Dominic, that they are, in fact, self-reliant, self-motivated, self-accountable. They can take responsibility for their actions. And this is a very rare breed of human, where they can get up and put in the work every single day without having the threat of losing their job. And that's kind of like what a team will provide. It's like, well, if you don't come here, you get fired. And that helps people get their rear ends into work. But you don't have to have that. So I think it really goes down to the individual person. And so I guess on the other side of the spectrum, if somebody can get up every day, talk to new people, they can build a pipeline, they can build their skills by maybe investing in themselves, by getting into coaching for those rare people, because coaching isn't for everybody, right? You've got to be able to be coachable. For those people, the other end of the spectrum is it would be hard to debate that they shouldn't be on their own. That's the other end, to be super fair, Dom. That well, why would that person be on a team? Because they don't need to give up half their money. And I think to put a bow on this, that's, I think, how this whole thing started, Ben, when you were talking about what you were talking about. Assuming that it's that type of person, Dominic, then I think that person should go off on their own, with the caveat that it's super rare to be that type of person. Because what I see is the solo person not prospecting every day, not following a schedule, no discipline, no focus, not willing to be coached, not being coachable. and then sitting there saying, well, I don't want to give up half my commission to a team. It's like, you need to be on a team. So for the rare individual that can create all the things we talked about, well, there's 0% of me that thinks that person needs to be on a team because it doesn't make any sense.
And I've got one final thought.
Yeah.
Is I just shared this the other day with an agent. Instead of joining a team, if you're willing to do the type of work you just outlined, and you're simply joining a team because you've never done a deal before and you need help with a deal, why don't you call an agent like Dominic and say, hey, Dom, I'm brand new. I'm going to generate the lead. I'm going to get it under contract. Will you split it with me 50-50, hold my hand until closing, and walk through this transaction with me?
That's true.
Most agents will say yes, right?
Yeah.
And most agents, if they're a top producer like Dom or not, they can help you through that transaction. And you can do that for 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 transactions, and you decide when it ends versus having to like leave a team to be able to accomplish that side of the transaction. So it's like, I think if you're willing to, the other thing is invest in yourself up front. That's coaching. And a lot of times it's a smaller investment than making the investment of learning this stuff on the back end through a split, because that a lot of times adds up even more. So deciding who you are, what resources you have, that's my final thought.
Yeah, I
really
agree.
Go ahead, Dom. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was just going to say, I was chuckling to myself because Ben said, a new agent get together with somebody like me. I've had agents over the years say, hey, man, can I shadow you? Can I shadow you? Like after 1 week of sitting there watching me make outbound calls for 3 hours, they're like, you know what? No, thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too. Oh, yeah, absolutely. But I think Ben brings up some really, really, really good alternatives, where maybe you can get to the same point. Again, I think that I want to be very careful in saying without having to give up half your commission to a team, because sometimes that's exactly what people need. The vast majority, I would say, we'll call it the 80-20. 80% of the people need that environment. They need the job-like experience in real estate first before they go off on their own. But the 20% maybe can land at the same place with a couple alternatives. Get a mentor, to your point. I'm going to first 5-10 transactions. A lot of brokerages do this. We split the deal so you can help me get through the transactions, navigate this thing so I don't screw it up. I think that should be mandatory, by the way. That's a whole nother topic of raising the barrier to entry into this business. And then, or the other thing, it's, maybe you invest $15,000 or $20,000 in coaching and to make $250 versus generating $250 and giving up $125 to the team. Right. If the coach can help you get to the same result for $20K, it probably makes a lot more sense financially if you are that 20% of person that can be the self-starter.